Hello everybody, and welcome to the first real installment of Basic Sex Ed. You'll notice we don't have the bird and the bee, had some management issues and they resigned. So it's pretty much just going to be me talking to you guys about Basic Sex Ed. First, I have to say I never really planned on doing this. It wasn't something I wanted to do. Part of me, I guess, believed that there was plenty of sex ed out there and that it's easily accessible. And I do think it is accessible, especially if you know how to search around the internet. But a lot of people come here, come to me, come to YouTube to find the information. And there's not a lot of good information on basic sex ed issues. So even though I had never planned on doing it, never really wanted to do it, here I am doing this series, and I am pretty excited because, as everybody knows, my videos, I'm not a professional. I'm just talking from my own studies and experiences and thoughts. But in this series, I can guarantee you that every single one is nurse reviewed and approved. So it's a little more reliable. And I think that's important, especially when we're talking to our teens. So I really hope you enjoy it. This one is on how to prevent STDs. So first and foremost, I think we really need to discuss the fact that STDs are a huge issue. Huge. And I'm not so sure that anybody except for the researchers and the public health officials out there really get it. I know I didn't really fully understand it until I did more research, and I still am baffled by it. It still doesn't fully sink into me. But in the US, one out of every four sexually active teens becomes infected with an STD every year. So I think it's actually higher than 25% of all teens, but 1 in 4 every year become infected. And because some of those infections can never be cured, that's going to build up and it's going to become more than 25% over time. The actual study will be in the description, so go check it out. So it's just 1 in 4. I mean, that's big, and I really hope that you guys can try and understand that as much as possible. And then we're finding that when we're not talking about teens, a recent study done, and I don't have the citation for this because I saw it on the news, is that 40% of all sexually active women have an STD. 40%. And that's like currently. So even higher percentage of that have had an STD at some point in their life, and thankfully it was an STD they could cure, and they went and got treatment and no longer have that STD. So for a moment, let's talk about STDs. Some are viral and some are bacterial. So viruses will stay in our body forever and we can never cure a virus. So that's something like HPV, which is genital warts, herpes, hepatitis, and AIDS. Those are incurable. I'm sure there's more, but those are the main ones. They're incurable. Once you have them for life. Now, of those mentioned, the 2 that are deadly, of course, are AIDS or HIV and hepatitis. Once you get those, they can most certainly kill you. And in most cases, they do. We do have better drug therapy these days, but so many people think that because there's now drugs available out there that AIDS is no longer deadly. It is still deadly in many cases, and in those that aren't, the drugs available make your life pretty miserable. Yeah, you get to keep living, but the drugs are pretty miserable. Okay, so for the other ones like chlamydia, gonorrhea, those syphilis, those can be cured pretty easily as long as you know what's going on and you're getting checkups and you go and you get treated. Now the problem with those are that even though they're curable, most women aren't recognizing that they have an STD, or men, and they aren't going and getting it treated. And while it is festering inside of your body, it is creating scarring that can create lots of pain later in your life. But perhaps most importantly for a lot of women is that it can and oftentimes will leave you infertile. So while you're having fun as a teen and not caring, and then you get married one day and you want to have kids, you can't. And that's a pretty big price to pay for a moment of fun, or whatever you want to call it. So it's a really, really important, and there's no way I could put words to how important it is and how serious STDs, and we're now starting to call them STIs. So instead of sexually transmitted diseases, we're calling them sexually transmitted infections. I don't know why they changed it. Does it really matter? Not to me. So anyway, these STDs, they're very serious. So the question becomes, how do you stay safe? How do you protect yourself? That's part 2.